dichotomy. It's like really, it's like a tale of two NYPDs. There's the NYPD we're hearing about in the headlines that are making national headlines, which is, in the national headlines, which are these lawsuits, these lawsuits alleging corruption in the premier law enforcement organization in the United States, and one of the definitely the largest police department. And also, on the other hand, you have these record-breaking low crime statistics that are, that are there. And I can say for a fact, I mean, the drop in gun violence it's a very real thing, because this time of the year, in previous years, that would be my story, and that would be one of our top stories nearly every single day. Some atrocious shooting in a playground, a kid hit by a stray bullet, somebody walking their kid to school getting shot, a kid coming out of school, that type of thing. And that has happened. And I've had a front row seat. You can check it out on our Fox 5 NY YouTube page, some of the gang takedowns and the gang takedowns that the NYPD has done. These are things that should be, they're methods that they use for this. And I just want to give the flip side of the story, because there's plenty for you to read about the alleged scandals and lawsuits. The flip side of that is you have men and women who basically, with surgical precision, go after active shooters. There's thousands of gang members in New York City, thousands. And the police are not going after gang member because they're affiliated with a certain crew or from a certain neighborhood. They're going after people after 1 and 2 and sometimes 3-year investigations, where they're going after the shooters who are, they're going after the shooters who are actually pulling they call them the trigger pullers, who are actually pulling the trigger. Then, before they even put the handcuffs on these individuals, before they even go to their door, knock on their door and drag them out, they get a grand jury. They present these cases. The evidence goes to a grand jury. They work in concert with a local district attorney. They get them pre-indicted. So there's already, there's already paperwork. There's already multiple eyes on these cases. It's not just the NYPD saying, "Oh, this is a bad guy, let's go get him." This is not like, let's come in with a battering ram and kick down the door like you see in these TV shows. This is them going in with warrants, going in with surgical precision, targeting the most violent individuals. And the police have said this to me, early on when I first started covering these takedowns for Fox 5, which I would recommend you see on our Fox 5 NY YouTube page if you're interested in that, because we talk about their methods and have them. You can see the police officers actually in action as they're doing this. It's a novel approach. It's the epitome of what Adams claimed at the beginning of his term as mayor was going to be his approach to crime, which is basically public safety as well as justice for everybody, meaning they would do it as much according to the law as you possibly can in a life and death situation where there's 100 variables, and where usually the biggest variable is somebody that wants that officer or that person who's responding to help out a New York City resident facing another person with a knife, or a person with a gun, or multiple people with guns, that type of thing. So it's very interesting to me to just see this dichotomy, that this goal that he said he wanted to do was actually being realized, but all of the good work that has been done over these last 3 or 4 years by the NYPD has basically been overshadowed by all of these scandals. So I just want to say that we need to keep in mind that there's right now men and women out on the streets of New York City here with the badge, with the gun, in the car, out on the streets, out on the subways, dealing with individuals, rescuing people, helping people, doing all of these things that we want our police officers to do. And they have to do it amidst this cloud of suspicion. So you can imagine, just think about it. I've seen this with my own eyes. You're a regular beat cop, and you're going out in your precinct and you're on the streets, and this is New York. People have no trouble. People have, people have no hesitation about running their mouth and, shouting out some comment at you. Usually the comments I get are good ones. I'm grateful for that. So big thank you to everybody on the streets. I'm crossing the street. They're like, "Hey, Lisa, I like that report," or "Hey, Lisa, I saw you on Fox 5. And that's a great feeling. Or I love that story. Or you know what you should do, Lisa. They're like, this is what you should really be talking about. And sometimes they're right, and sometimes it gives us ideas, and we follow up on it. It turns out to be a great story. But in terms of police officers, they're out there. People are saying, "Oh, did you take a bribe?" Or "Where's the oh, you're coming to work in a used car, in a hoopty, what they call a hoopty, where I thought you'd have with all that money you're making, on the side." Like there's that verbal abuse that they have to deal with, and that most of them, 99% of them, deal with very, very well. But we'll see. I mean, I'm looking forward